everything that went wrong could have gone wrong. And we still made north of six figures. So that was a huge win because it made me realize, wow, the possibilities in this industry are endless. The possibilities of me as a person, it empowered me. So that's why I always encourage everyone, just jump in, make the mistakes, because even after those mistakes, you're going to be empowered.
Welcome to the Rental Property Owner and Real Estate Investor Podcast, brought to you by the Rental Property Owner Association, providing benefits and services to real estate investors and rental property owners for over 48 years. With your host, Brian Hamrick from Hamrick Investment Group.
This episode is sponsored by Green Property Management, managing everything from single-family homes to apartment complexes in the West Michigan area. Find out more at greenpropertymgt.com. And RCB & Associates, helping real estate investors and small business owners navigate the complex world of health insurance and Medicare benefits at rcbassociatesllc.com. Hello and welcome to episode 329. My guest today is a former professional basketball player who has taken his passion and persistence from the basketball court to the real estate world. Art Morrison III is the CEO of United Home Relief and the author of Overcome, the Key to Unlocking Your Superhuman. He and his team have completed over $6 million in transactions across 15 properties in only 3 years. He now seeks to teach young adults how to get into the real estate investing game and expedite their path to financial freedom through syndication. Art, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
Well, thank you for being here. You have a really interesting backstory. Why don't you fill us in on where you are coming from? I know you're a basketball player, but you're also in the real estate world. So how do those two come together?
So growing up, basketball was my passion and everything was about basketball. So I was tunnel vision on basketball, but my older brother actually was into real estate when I was younger. So in regards to like success in my community, there was only a couple of ways we saw that. It was like through sports, through music. So when my brother had a different path to success, I seen it in the back of my mind. I just had never really tapped into it because I was so focused on basketball. So fast forward after a pretty good basketball career and playing professionally, once I decided I wanted to work for myself, once I realized that my dream of basketball was still ultimately a job, right? I knew that I could apply those same principles to another industry, this real estate industry, and hopefully seek success. And we achieved, I won't say what some would call success. We achieved success pretty early in the game. In our first year, I believe we did 4 properties. And then after that, we did 8. And we continued to snowball from there. So once I just saw how some of the principles and values and disciplines that I've learned through basketball I could apply in real estate fairly easily, and how easy it was to be successful if you just knew some core strategies, I decided to really build a full business model around it and go hard at it and bring a team in and grow it and go from there. So that's where we are now. We're still growing. We're still young in the game, but I'm very passionate about anyone being able to have success in real estate. So it's important to me that, to get this message out on platforms like yours and just in general, really emphasize it to people like, hey, it doesn't matter where you're from, what your background is, what you formerly did. You can have success in this game, part-time, full-time, whatever. It's a path for everyone.
You say your path to success was basketball in the beginning, but your brother had a different path to success. Was it real estate or what was he doing?
We come from a rougher background, right? So my father, actually, when I was growing up, we were like in and out of prison, and my father struggled with drug addiction. So real estate actually was my brother's escape from all of that. We're 10 years apart, so I was much younger. So my escape from everything that was going on was basketball. And it, although it's a disadvantage, sometimes we know that disadvantages play as advantages. And it really pushed me toward pouring all I had into basketball. So in high school, I actually went to 5 different schools because my parents were getting divorced. And, with the market crash and things like that, financial issues, we were moving a lot. So I had an unorthodox path in high school, a lot of things to overcome. And then in college, those things kind of came back to bite me because my credits were all messed up. I missed my whole freshman year of college. Senior year, I blew my knee out. So I didn't even play my senior year of basketball and still landed a professional contract through persistence and just going all in towards something. So I knew the power of like fully investing yourself into something. So like I said, once I was playing professional and I realized that, okay, I did it. I reached my goal. But this still something is off. I don't feel financial freedom. it was really as simple as just kind of changing my focus to real estate. And real estate just happened to be it because my brother, I had seen him do well in it. So, and many others too. I've seen a lot of people be successful in real estate. And I'm someone who always I'm looking at numbers. So I'm like, man, if these people could be successful in real estate, I can be successful in real estate if I just put my mind to it, because given my history, anything I put my mind to, I can achieve. And that doesn't just go for me, that goes for anyone. So that's kind of how the basketball real estate thing connected. It was just somewhere that I knew, like, hey, if you go hard at this, you can make a lot of money without trading your time. And in basketball, although it's a dream and it's a game, it's not sitting behind a desk. It still is trading your time for money, which I'm not the biggest fan of.
I'm really intrigued by this idea of, I'm sorry, I'm going back to your brother again. He took refuge in real estate. You took refuge in basketball. Was he a teenager and he came upon the power of investing in real estate? I mean, what does that mean?
He actually was in prison, released from prison on a program. That program led him to work for a mortgage company. So he was about 25 at the time. I was 15. So by the time he was 27, I believe he had, I think it was 2007, he did 1.3 million between, just in real estate in general, between loans, commissions, wholesaling, flipping houses. He crushed it in 2007. So that was my first time seeing like wealth. And he was only 25, 26, 27 at the time. So although I'm like, man, I'm going to the NBA, I don't care about any of that. It was in the back of my mind that, hey, this is a way that you can, create financial freedom for yourself. Right. So he was young, not quite a teenager, but fast forward, the reason where it really resonated was, like I was saying, my father was also in and out of prison and had his own issues as well. So when my brother changed his life around, he kind of took that role of guardianship, if you will. So I was like, I didn't really want to jump into real estate. You don't want to do what your older brother does, right? You kind of want to create a lane for yourself. So I was hesitant to do so. But once I learned that even within real estate, there's so many different niches and so many different ways that you can create a name and a brand for yourself. It didn't have to be in anyone's footsteps. Once I learned that, and I learned I can still be myself, still be my own brand within this real estate space, I just went all in on it.
So talk about going in on it. Where did you start when you took that step? And by the way, did you make that transition after your professional basketball career was over, or were you doing it while you were basketball?
So while I was still playing basketball, the bug I got wasn't real estate yet. It was just general entrepreneurship. So I actually started a youth basketball organization that still runs to this day. And I was doing that. It's youth sports, right? So I was making money. I was making a living for myself, but it still just didn't align with when I close my eyes, like, what's that vision that I've always seen, right? And financially, that vision was in a different place than the kind of money that you would make from running a youth basketball organization, right? So at that moment, I said, okay, I want to transition into something bigger. So I started kind of dabbling in real estate, learning how to evaluate deals. And while I was doing my youth basketball organization, I transitioned it into more of my way of giving back and put more time into real estate. The minute I did that is the minute I started getting deals. So the first deal I got was actually a neighbor's house. This was in 2018. My neighbor was selling their house. So when I saw them put the for sale for sale by owner sign in the window, I knew from my research and learning and mentorship that I've gotten from real estate professionals around me and podcasts and things like that, I knew this is a motivated seller. So I just talked to my neighbor who I'd never met, because his mother actually owned the house and passed away. And they tried to be landlords for a year. They hated it, just wanted to get rid of it. And there was equity there. There was opportunity there. So I got the house under contract without any clue of knowing what to do. And I just went to everybody I knew in real estate and said, okay, what do I do? And I ended up wholesaling it to a mentor who allowed me to shadow that deal. So I made some money and I learned from that deal. And then from posting and branding that deal on Instagram, I got another deal in that same town. And that was my second deal. And I took the money that I made from wholesale fees and from flipping the second property. And I bought 2 investment properties, 2 multifamilies. So that was the first year where I was able to do 4 transactions. I had 4 properties under my belt in my first year. And that was the year that I kind of transitioned from, I can do this on the side and make some money wholesaling, to, okay, wait, if I put a lot of energy into this, I can make a lot of money, because it's only been 1 year. And all of a sudden I'm making, an extra $2,500 a month in cash flow. And I've made about $50,000 from flipping the second one and wholesaling the first one. So I had not made that much money in my youth basketball organization. Let's just say that, right? I was barely breaking even, just, serving the community. So once I got a taste of that next year, I said, what if we did this intentional? Instead of finding properties from a neighbor while going on a morning walk, what if we actually went out and marketed to find off-market deals? And that's what we did. And we went from 4 properties that first year in 2019 to 8 properties in 2020. And then in 2021 grew from there. Here we are in 2022, and we have a system for acquisitions. We have a system for capital raising. We have a system for everything that we do is now beginning to be a true business model and not just a side hustle, if you will.
Take us through your system. You keep saying we. So who's on your team, and what kind of system do you have for all those different things you just mentioned?
Everyone's on my team. If you ever express any interest in real estate, I'm finding something for you to do. So the biggest player is probably my significant other, Caitlin. She handles basically our acquisitions, because when I wanted to scale, I found myself at most of our projects, managing the projects. Now acquisitions paused. Who's doing outreach? So she actually quit her job and got her real estate license. So she helps us find properties on the market, but she also runs our marketing systems, which we do a number of different forms of marketing, from cold calling to door knocking to postcards to direct mail to text message marketing, everything that we can possibly, email marketing, obviously, right? So she runs all of that in an attempt to find deals. And I was kind of doing project management. Then we brought on some project managers as we scaled up. So once we had 10 deals going on at one time, I said, okay, this is silly. I'm waking up every morning and, going and meeting people in regards to materials and how this project is going. This is silly. So let's scale by bringing in a team member there. So we have 3 project managers on staff, and that allowed us also to get into other markets that we didn't have physical reach. So we're currently here in Florida. Most of what we're doing is in New Jersey. So we have project managers in New Jersey running those. And then from a capital raising perspective, we just jumped into this Reg D space we're really excited about to scale our business. And that's kind of more so where I spend most of my time, is leveraging my brand, jumping on podcasts like this to just grow the company, grow recognition, to make it easier to raise capital for some of these deals now that we're scaling our acquisition. So we have a few VAs on staff. We have a marketing director. We have acquisitions, Caitlin, who does acquisitions. So we have a number of people who we have an outsourced cold calling team now, so we don't have to do that. So we have a number of different people, probably about 12 individuals who work within the company to make it run like a well-oiled machine.
I'd love to hear a story about how you have succeeded in either communicating with your team, or a specific example of one of your greatest wins, or even what you're most proud of so far in your real estate investing career.
Our first core, I'm an investor. It's just me. There's no mentor involved. Our first deal, we made $125,000. That was our first deal that we did leveraging OPM, other people's money. We found a property on the market. We lost the bid. Someone backed out. They came back to us. We lowballed them and they accepted, right? So we got a property in New Jersey. And if anyone knows New Jersey's market or the Northeast, it's not cheap. But we got a property for $100,000. So it doesn't matter if this was a burned down or vacant land. It was a good deal regardless, because $100,000 in New Jersey is like pennies. So we ended up flipping that property and selling it for $385,000. And we made a nice chunk of change after paying back our partners and things like that. So that was a huge win, but not because we made a lot of money. It was a huge win because it was my first time doing it by myself, Caitlin and I. And we stumbled through it, man. It was a lot of mistakes. This was 2020, so it was during the pandemic. Everything that went wrong could have gone wrong. And we still made north of 6 figures. So that was a huge win because it made me realize, wow, the possibilities in this industry are endless. The possibilities of me as a person, it empowered me. So that's why I always encourage everyone, just jump in, make the mistakes, because even after those mistakes, you're going to be empowered. It's like going to the gym and leaving sore. It's like, you're not seeing the results yet, but you're sore, you learned, and you know that, okay, if I just keep doing this, I'm going to grow. My muscles are going to grow. I'm going to be stronger. I'm going to be better. So same thing goes in real estate. So after that first deal, we had a nice little chunk of change and we made a name for ourselves. So we got intentional about strategic partnerships. So that would be probably my biggest win, is from doing that one property. Everyone in our network started coming out, I won't say out the blue, but everyone started coming to us like, hey, I want to get into real estate. I have money. I have this property. I have this opportunity. And we began partnering, and it allowed us to scale really quickly. And I always tell everyone that's kind of the hack here in real estate, is partnering. It's the easiest way to make more money, get more units, and do less work. If you try to do everything yourself, it's certainly possible, and there's just benefits to it. But partnering has completely changed the game for us. Even our project managers who I mentioned earlier, like I consider them partners. I leverage equity in deals or profits or whatever it is so that I don't have to pay out of pocket, but it keeps them empowered. They are equally as invested in the business as we are. So we're all just constantly growing together.
I'd like to take a moment to tell you about Green Property Management. Not only do they manage everything from single-family homes to apartment complexes in the West Michigan area, they also manage my entire portfolio. So I can tell you from personal experience that their unique flat fee management style is worth a closer look. If you feel that your property isn't operating to its fullest potential, then Green Property Management can help you take a holistic approach that will save you money, eliminate your headaches, and increase your net income. And if you're a property manager interested in applying Green Property Management's model, give them a call at 1-866-95-GREEN or visit them on the web at greenpropertymgt.com.
If you're thinking of leaving your W-2 job and becoming a full-time real estate investor, one of the greatest costs you must consider is healthcare for you and your family. When I made this transition myself, I found the whole healthcare insurance process to be confusing and frustrating. That's why I'm glad I met Chad Creasy at RCB and Associates. Chad is a professional health insurance agent who helps real estate investors and small business owners understand and choose their best healthcare options. And best of all, his services are covered by the insurance company and won't cost you a dime. If you live in Michigan and are expecting a change in your healthcare insurance coverage for any reason, or losing employer coverage or transitioning into Medicare, then you owe it to yourself to contact Chad Creasy at rcbassociatesllc.com. Instead of paying them, they convert what they would normally get paid into equity in the actual investment.
What we do, and this is our model, I'm not saying it's the best model, but for where we are in business, our general contractors, instead of just treating them like general contractors, and if anyone who's in real estate, general contractors can become a problem if they are not happy or they are always on the search for their next dollar, which they have to be because that's how they eat. It could pose a problem in your projects, right? So what we've typically done is convert those general contractors into partners. So we empower them. So now they're making money, general contracting, like a typical general contractor would, but we also can leverage equity. We can leverage long-term agreements so that they can be a part of more deals. So like they might be in one deal and they might have other work coming along, but they're still staying loyal to you because they know that you have deals in the pipeline and you're going to constantly be feeding them. So it's just an overall mission of the company of like, hey, we're doing this together. And when your company has that energy that, hey, we're all in this together, it's not the art show, right? We're all in this together. Everyone will work hard for you. And I learned that in that second year. And we kind of just built a whole business model around it. So now as we scale to doing like more public capital raises and not just like friends and family and people who we consider partners, as we kind of publicly scale and look to raise capital, we still want to keep that same mission and make everyone feel like, hey, not only am I just investing in a company, but I'm also learning. I'm also, all the warm, fuzzy stuff that real estate comes with that just makes your brand that much more powerful.
As far as partnerships go, are you also partnering with investors as well? Are you syndicating, and how are you bringing in your money?
Yes, we're always partnering with investors. Anytime there's an investor in the area, we don't look at them as competition. We look at them as an opportunity for growth. Hey, how can we work together and if you're doing residential fix and flips and we're doing residential fix and flips, let's maybe come together and do something between 10 and 20 units, right? And we're always looking for the opportunity for growth. So we're partnering with investors. We're partnering with people who have virtually no investing experience, but they have capital and want to put their capital to work or maybe want to learn. We're partnering with anyone who can bring something to the table, who can help us, and in return, we can help them. We're all about win-wins. And in real estate, if you're all about win-wins, you can scale pretty quickly because people see right through when you're trying to take advantage of them.
I want to talk about branding too, because you talked about your personal brand and branding your business. What's your philosophy there, and how are you leveraging your personal brand for your business?
It's huge. Like our first few investors were parents from my youth basketball organization. So because I developed a brand, not just around basketball, but around being a good person who cares for other people's kids, right? If you trust me with your kid, you're going to trust me with your capital or trust me to manage a project well. So in doing that, our first couple investors actually came from my other company leveraging my other basketball brand or me being known as a professional basketball player, as well as just me being known as a good person, creating a solid brand for myself. If my brand was me doing knucklehead things on YouTube, right, or whatever, anything unprofessional, then I wouldn't have been able to successfully have those partnerships. But because I built a brand for being well-polished, clean, mature, sound, and professional, it was much easier for me to leverage these partnerships. So when I took it to even another level and I developed a true business, not just, hey, bro, I'm flipping houses, or hey, bro, I'm in this real estate, do some real estate business with me. Because I branded it as a true real estate investing firm with a logo and a website and an email that doesn't say @Yahoo at the end. And I just was very intentional about what I know people look for when investing anything, time, capital, partnership, anything. They are looking for the utmost professionalism. So I knew that from our first year when I was just kind of doing it as a side hustle. I knew that people were coming to me because I was professional. So by branding a company that was equally as professional with a team of people that are working within that company, we got even more respect and more trust. Branding directly equates to trust. And when we started building that trust, that's when we were able to scale our business and literally double in transactions every year since we started.
That's fantastic. And you just gave some great tips for people who are looking to do what you're doing, which is build a brand, build an identity, reputation. I'm wondering if you can give us some more tips. You said make sure you have a logo, a website, that your email isn't art@yahoo.com. What else would you recommend for people who want to build a brand in this space?
Transparency. So people are going to respect that you invested the time, money, and energy into branding yourself. So I was very fine with telling people, hey, look, we've only done 4 deals, but look at the vision that we have. Like I was selling them on the mission and the vision of the company. So look at how much time and effort we've put into building a legitimate company. Look at the time and effort we put into learning, right? Look at all of these things that we've done. You're basically packaging, branding is just packaging your company in a way that makes it attractive to partners and investors. If you want people to spend money with you or invest money into you, you have to be professional. So it's like any company that goes public. It could be Apple, Airbnb, it doesn't matter. Before they do so, they have to make every potential investor believe in their brand. So like no one is investing large amounts of capital into those large companies, no matter how good they are at what they do, if the email is like professional email, if it's at msn.com, if the website is not clean and functioning, if there's no marketing materials to be found, if there's no track record at all. So I highly recommend, like I said, the email thing, I mentioned it twice. The email thing and the website thing is huge. Social media is big as well. We've been able to leverage social media strong. If anyone's watching this and they're looking to get started, everyone always asks me, how do I get started? I don't really have the money. How do I get started in real estate? I want to make money. I hear you can make money wholesaling. I hear you can do strategic partnerships to where you don't really need that much capital to get started. But where can I get started? I always tell them, your website is an easy, low-cost way to get started, branding yourself. And then your social media, it's free. So you can literally create a logo for yourself in the app Canva, right? You can create a social media page and you can begin providing value from a real estate perspective. When we first started, we had an Instagram page that was just real estate tips and definitions. That's how we got people to trust that we were knowledgeable. That's how we got people to understand, okay, they're in real estate. And then as we kind of grew that, when it was time for us to start doing deals, we were already trusted and had already built an audience around real estate. So social media is another tip that I would give everyone when they're getting started. And it just helps you look that much more professional.
How exactly are you leveraging social media and which platforms?
Instagram is our biggest. LinkedIn is huge. We don't use it as much as we should. I'll say that in front of everyone. We don't use it as much as we should. Social media in general is one of those things that it's worth the time investment or the money investment, meaning hiring someone to do it. Because even as I'm saying this out loud, it's like, I would gladly spend $1,000 or $2,000 a month for someone to be constantly reaching out to people on LinkedIn, because that's where a lot of the partners are. We leverage Facebook in the same way that we would leverage LinkedIn, joining Facebook groups. There are huge real estate investing groups all over the country. Like if I'm sitting here in Tampa, Florida, if I go on Facebook and I type real estate investing Tampa, there's going to be several groups and each group is going to have several 100,000 members. There are groups with literally hundreds of thousands of people who are just constantly dropping deals, dropping advice, looking for partners. Join these groups, not just on social media, but also in person. But social media, I mean, it's free. You can do it from your phone or laptop. Why not connect and network without having to put shoes on? Right. So social media, Facebook is huge for that. Instagram is big because it's kind of the central hub of what especially younger people who is more of our audience and who we're trying to reach. It's the central hub for where people are going to learn about you. So if you go on social media and you look at my page, you'll see, okay, former professional, author, this guy's handsome. Oh, I like the way this guy dresses. But in my bio, it says the companies that I own. So then you might click United Home Relief, which is my company. And then you see a professional page with a color scheme and a logo and a professional email. Oh, there's my website. You click the website. You see a professional website, very informative, frequently asked questions, a chat bot where I can ask questions live. These are all the small things that change your avatar. So 3 years ago, my avatar was people who text me like, yo, bro, I see you're in real estate. Oh, I'd love to get down. I'd love to pick your brain. That avatar now shifted to people who are in the mindset of approaching a company. They're already put in the mindset of professionally reaching out, partnering. Like it just changes the branding on social media, which is like the first place people can see you for free. It's free marketing. Immediately changes the kind of business you can potentially be doing because it immediately changes the avatar that is connecting with you. Whereas if I didn't have a social media, the only way for me to give people a website would be me personally giving it to them or putting it on my personal page. And now it's convoluted with all my personal stuff. It's like you might see one post and it's me and my girlfriend, and another one's family, and then another one's like, hey, real estate, which is great. But you still need that separation of, hey, listen, I'm running a legitimate company here. It would be like if Tim Cook just had his social media. Hey, but I run Apple, but this is where you can get all your Apple news on this page. No, like Apple has its own page that is everything Apple. Same thing goes in this real estate space. So as we provided value through social media and as we showed our track record, that's the other thing. We can constantly show our track record for free in front of as many people as we choose to grow our page to. We can show our track record constantly. And we're always getting inquiries about people selling their house, people looking for a house, people looking to invest, people looking to partner. It's constant. Every day I got 3 messages this morning from people wanting to do business. All off social media, and it cost me nothing.
Your perception and your branding throughout your life, it seems, has gone from being a professional basketball player to real estate investor, probably some things in between. But now, as a company, a professional company, going back to being a professional basketball player, what are some of the lessons learned or things that you took away from that inform what you do today?
In basketball, like physically playing, teamwork was a big one. Discipline is a big one. If you want to be good at it, you have to practice it. That was huge. The big 2, persistence, obviously, like you get knocked down sometimes. Sometimes someone plays more than you. Sometimes you lose games. So overcoming adversity was huge. But when I went to play professional, that's when I realized the branding and marketing thing. That's why I'm big on it, because I realized, okay, teams are paying us money to play. So they want us to be good basketball players. But bigger than that, they need to sell tickets. They need fans. That's how they make the money back. So they're looking for players who are easy to brand and easy to market. That's what they were looking for. So I fit that bill once I saw that. I realized, okay, cool. I'm tall. I carry myself well. I got a big smile. I have an exciting game, right? But people don't know that until they come to the games. So if I'm easily marketed by looking good, looking clean, all of that made me more attractive to get more contracts. So when I stopped playing, I just knew it's the same concept. It was about how many points I had per game, yes. It was about all of those things. My availability, was he injured or not, all that kind of stuff. But bigger than that, it also was, how good is this guy going to look on the posters? How many seats is this person going to fill? Is he going to dunk in the game and go like this to make the crowd get excited? That's what they care about at the professional level, along with how well you're playing, especially in Europe. It's different than here in America because I played in Europe. I didn't play in the NBA. It's more about the excitement. It's more entertainment than it is here. So in real estate, when I switched over, I just knew the power of that. I knew, okay, when people are looking at a real estate business, what do they want to see? Well, first of all, they want to see real estate, right? They want to see that you're actually conducting business. So I knew that every little thing that I did in this business, whether it was a little wholesale deal for 10 grand or me buying my first multifamily with an FHA loan, a 2-family house for $200,000, I knew that I had to document every part of the process from a content perspective, videos, pictures, to show real estate. Then I had to show not money, like physically showing that we're making money, but I had to show the prestige that any other financial company, which like the same way Wells Fargo markets, Goldman Sachs, right? We kind of adapted that same form of marketing down to what my font was, down to the language we were using, right? So we got really scientific about how we could make people trust our business. If you look at United Home Relief, my company, if anyone is bored and wants to go to unitedhomerelief.com, if you look at it, we literally have a similar font to Wells Fargo's logo font. I told my graphic designer, I want something similar to this because I like the way it makes me feel, right? There's a science to marketing down to the color. We use green. Our company color is green. Why is that? It's no secret. Green makes you think of money. I don't care who you are. It makes you think of money and health, right? So we were intentional about all these things, but I understood that coming from the basketball space because it was the same thing. It was important. It was like, you think basketball, you think tall. I'm tall. I'm automatically better, easier to market than someone who's equally as good as me at basketball, but maybe they're only 6'1" and I'm 6'7", right? When you think of basketball, you think of dunks. I can dunk. I'm better. I'm easier to market. If I'm a team or if a team is looking at me, I'm easier to market for them than someone who doesn't dunk, who's always laying it up, right? It's just more boring. It was just a simple concept that I was like, oh, aha moment. We're going to do the same thing in real estate. And that allowed us to grow and get more people to trust us, believe in us, buy properties from us, sell properties to us, invest money into us, partner with us. It was easy because I knew what made them tick. So it took a little bit of market research, but it's pretty much a no-brainer aha moment.
Amazing what you just said, because I come from a marketing background and you are saying things and sharing things about just getting down to the font, the color, the look, the branding, all of that most people would, no matter what profession, whether it's real estate or anything, they don't understand how influential those things can be. So it's amazing so I said basketball player, real estate investor, company owner, you're also a master marketer too, I can tell.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that, really.
Tell our listeners how they can find out more about you, your company, and or get a hold of you.
Art Morrison III is my name. So that's Art Morrison III, like, junior, senior. I'm the third. So Art Morrison III on everything. So if you go to Instagram, it's at Art Morrison III, at Art Morrison III. That's my hub where I'm always putting out real estate content and sharing everything it is that I do. Additionally, my website, artmorrisonthird.com. So artmorrisonii.com, you can visit. And same thing, I'm always sharing what I'm doing. I have mentorship. This podcast episode will be up there. So any way you need to get in contact with me or hear what I'm doing, artmorrisonthird.com or at artmorrisonthird on Instagram are the two best places. And also, if you go to my website, you can get my book, Overcome, The Key to Unlocking Your Superhuman, for free ebook. It's a really motivational book. It talks about everything we talked about today, but from when I was a kid up until I signed my pro contract and just overcoming things and unlocking your superhuman for anyone. It's not like your typical biography. It's a more self-help and really self-reflecting for the reader.
Art, I've really enjoyed this conversation. And I think that word superhuman is probably a good description here because you're a super basketball player, super real estate investor, and as we just learned, a super marketer too. Thank you so much for talking with us today. And it's been a real pleasure.
Thanks so much for having me, Brian. I appreciate you and your audience for listening to what I have to say.
I want to thank everybody for listening to this episode. I'm your host, Brian Hamrick from Hamrick Investment Group, and you can find out more about me by going to higinvestor.com. That's higinvestor.com. And you can also ask questions and join us on Facebook by going to RPOA, Rental Property Owner and Real Estate Investor Podcast. This episode was sponsored by Green Property Management, managing everything from single-family homes to apartment complexes complexes in the West Michigan area. Find out more at greenpropertymgt.com.
And RCB and Associates, helping real estate investors and small business owners navigate the complex world of health insurance and Medicare benefits at rcbassociatesllc.com.
You've been listening to the Rental Property Owner and Real Estate Investor Podcast, brought to you by the Rental Property Owner Association. You can find out more at rpoaonline.org. If you enjoyed this podcast, please go to iTunes to subscribe, rate, and review.